Spacey, Sims, and we are back with more London Detective Mysteria, and this could be the last part. It might be the second to last part. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we are going to do the true ending, the grand end. I guess it's considered called the grand ending. So we finished the Baker Street Boys ending in the last part, and we are about to do the grand ending. So we were supposed to go here, start a new game. We are supposed to start a new game from the prologue. Okay. Oh my god, I gotta do this again? Hold on. Hello? Oh god, what did we do with her name? Was this C? Oh, the C was this one. This was it. I don't want to have to put my whole name in again. Okay. I don't have a start button. I have options and share, so. Our tale begins as the curtains close on the 19th century. We'll just read through it even though we've already done it. This evening is as ordinary as they come for London, England. Mist hangs thick, beclouding the radiance of the moon and modest glow of gas lamps. Now a word of caution, if I may. Take care on the streets tonight. It wouldn't do for you to become the target of villains lurking in the shadows. Wait! I've decided what we are going to do on this. We should turn our voice acting on. We'll turn our voices up. Not to say that we'll hear any of all the characters' voices, but if there are voices, we'll hear them, and then we'll just read it normally, and then you get to see. I'll just read what they say normally because we've already done all this. But you'll just get to hear them this way, maybe, and we'll hear how atrocious my versions of their voices are, and I'll cry because I'll be like, I'm really excited to hear Pendleton's actual voice because I don't think any of the voice actors that are in this are any that I recognize. You know, usually the ones in all the Idea Factory stuff, they're in like all the animes, and some of these guys might be in animes too, but there's like a handful that you're like, they're in everything. They're my boys. I know all of them. Like, I know a handful. And then there's other random ones you're like, oh, he was in this and this. Okay, I get it. Or she was in this too. Like, I don't know. I didn't recognize any of their names. So anyway, it wouldn't do for you to become the target of villains lurking in the shadows. Even Scotland Yard, the pride of our city, has yet to solve the many terrifying incidents that hide comfortably in its seatiest corners. Most perhaps would scurry away with this advice than stroll blissfully into a trap. You strike me as an unusual sort, however, so should you find yourself drawn to the unsolvable, steel your nerves and see your case through to its end. Take solace in knowing that London is home to more than the purely unjust, for the just find their places amongst the likes of brilliant detectives and fearless gentlemen thieves. The curtain may soon close on the 19th century, yes, but upon the resounding chime of Big Ben, a new tale of love and adventure like no other begins. It's like a really good fucking intro to a game, and I'm really glad we're rereading it because it's just still great. On a foggy moonlit night. Interesting.
こんばんはお嬢様。すべての物語をご覧になられたようですね。
His voice is so gentle. Anyway, good evening, my lady. I see you've finished a number of stories. All this is new. That's great. Pendleton pointed to a book on the table.
ここにはお嬢様が真実に至るための物語が一つ記されております。
Oh my god. I love it because his voice is literally just it's so deep, but it's gentle. It's gentle. It's like very kind and sweet, and you're like, but then you're gonna call me fat in that voice, and I don't know how to do it. Yet with this last one here, the key to truth will finally be in your grasp.
もしよろしければ不詳ながらこのペンデルトン目にご案内させていただけませんでしょうか。
See, this is why we don't actually normally do the voice acting in games, because then you have to pause and then you read it, and it takes like a lot longer to read the game. And then because you know me, we talk for 20 minutes about random things. Anyway, I'm your butler, a mere servant in your employ. Yet would you honor my request to act as your guide?
ページを開けばその物語が溢れ出すに違いありません。
I gotta turn down my TV and turn up, because like I'm hearing the echo, so. Hold on, I'm gonna mute my TV for a second, and then just listen to it in my headphones. Because I can hear the echo and it's weird. And if I may warn you, once you choose to open this book, you shall be overcome by the words
で
within.
はお嬢様、真
Now,
実に至るお覚悟はございま
I'm
す
like,
でしょうか。
I knew he wasn't done talking because I'm like, yeah, but now then, are you ready to seek the truth? Should I open the book? Of course I'm gonna open it. I wonder what happens if you
承
choose
知いた
don't.
しました。それでは開かせていただきます。
Very well. Then let me open. Then allow me to open it for
お
you.
嬢様がたどられた道筋に真実がきっと待っております。
So all we do is get to hear Pendleton, and I'm totally okay with this. Again, I must state the truth, whatever it may be, awaits you along this road.
今一度ひとときの安息を。
With that said, close your eyes and entrust yourself to the story you've chosen. Wonder what happens if you say don't. We're gonna try that after, if we have time. That was the end. It'd be fucking hilarious.
London Underground.
Oh, I was gonna read that, and then she read it for me. Okay. Does she have a voice? She might actually. The stage was set in Montmartre, Paris, France, 340 kilometers south of London. I don't know what is it. Marta? Marta? France? I don't know. I don't know French shit, and there's too much French shit in these games.
いや、ロンドンの探偵諸君。事件の捜査はどう？そんなことより学校や友達のことで忙しい？それは結構。
That is such to me. That's a Lupin voice. That is such a fucking Lupin voice. You know what I mean? Like there's like the little oh yeah, like the taunting in it. If it's not fucking Lupin, I'm gonna be disappointed. It actually could be another character, but if it's any of our main characters, that's who I would have picked. But I don't know. Could be one we've never met. Greetings, detectives of London. How fares your investigation? What's that? Too busy with schoolwork and frolicking about with friends? Oh, I quite understand.
しかし、ロンドンに比べたらパリの冬はあったかいね。
It's the mysterious top hat guy that I've been waiting for! Thank you! I was literally, when I was like, that's like a Lupin voice if it's any of them, then I was like, oh wait, we haven't met top hat guy. It's top hat guy. Okay, cool. That's why we don't know who he is, but... So we're probably not going to hear any of our, like, other characters' voices, but whatever. Now, I've observed that winters in Paris are much warmer than London's.
とはいえ、こんな乾いた北風の吹く朝は、ベッドが僕を離してくれなくってさ、起きるのが本当に辛いよ。
But this northern wind is so dry, makes my bed irresistible in the mornings. Waking up has turned into an ordeal, let me tell you.
そんな時にはこうして。
That was the shortest sentence for something this long. Wow. There is but one thing I find worth starting my day for, however.
出来たて熱々ドロドロのショコラは最高だ。
I kind of love him. Here we are, a cup of thick, piping hot chocolate.
ボストン茶会事件なんか見てもわかるように、イギリス人の紅茶好きは世界的に有名だけど。
I had nothing to do with that! It bears mentioning that I say this as an Englishman, and we English are known for our love of tea. You know of the Boston Tea Party, yes? Our tea, you know. Terrible waste.
僕のマイブームは断然ホットショコラだね。フランスじゃみんなガトーショコラを食べながら、さらにホットショコラを飲むのさ。
Yet I dare say I prefer the French way. Here people couple their, is that gâteau? Gâteau? Chocolat? With more hot chocolate.
そんなにショコラだらけで疲れないかって？
You ask if we ever tire of indulging our sweet tooth?
フランスじゃショコラのないティータイムなんて死体のない棺桶と同じだね。で、俺ショコラを飲むならショコラタイム？ま、そんなことより。
You poor dear. Tea time in France without chocolate is like a coffin without a corpse. Undertaker? Is that you in there? Well, I suppose it ought to be called chocolate time than tea time, but I digress.
ちょっと、今朝の新聞まだ？
You there. Just where is my morning paper?
はい、ただいま。
Here you are, sir.
もう遅いよ。言われなくても枕元に置いておく。 僕の300の生きがいの一つなんだからさ。まだインクの乾かないうちに読む熱々ドロドロの新聞。
For God's sake, any chap with half a mind would have left it next to my pillow without me asking. Do you know? Even you must know the joy of reading a paper so hot off the presses that the ink is not yet dried. It's one of life's 300 greatest pleasures. I like how he's got 300.
大変申し訳ございません。
My apologies, sir. The underling is so like, yeah, okay, whatever. He's so dead inside.
使えないな。どれどれ。
Oh, you are useless. It hurts me more than it does you. Now let's see.
女王陛下の探偵ホワイトリー、またもお手柄。そう、両親を早くに亡くした彼女はホワイトリー家を継ぐ女当主。
Really hoping that we'd hear some of the other characters' voices. I'm actually gonna... Okay, hold on. I know I just turned it on, but we've heard his voice. We heard Pendleton's. I'm gonna turn it off. Just because it's taking a long time to read now, because we gotta go through. And if we get to... If we get to anyone else popping in, I'll add it back so we can hear them. But if it's just gonna be him telling us a story, we don't really, like, it's gonna take, like, 6 hours because... He's got long-ass sentences. He's got, like, speeches. He's monologuing up in here. And, it's going to take forever. But I'm just going to read it normal, because I'm not going to give him a voice, because we've already heard his voice, and I can't do that, so. Anyway, another case solved for Her Majesty's detective, Spacey Whitley. Ah, the little orphan girl. She is head of her household also, no? Great Britain is ruled by a queen, and so its people rejoice any woman who fights to defend her country. I suppose one might call her a miniature queen, groveling retainers and all. I actually do love Top Hat over here. He's kind of interesting to me. But power always requires a symbol. The ring on her hand is hers. It signifies her role as the one trusted by the queen. My daddy-o so loves people with power. I hope that won't prove to be his undoing. See, okay. When I saw him in the background, like, of all the things, and he's, like, over here, and then Jack was, like, talking to someone, I thought it was going to be this Top Hat guy, and it was fucking Bradley. Because, I mean, hello, he's wearing a top hat and he's dapper as fuck. And that's what Jack does when he's out there slaughtering people. So I'm just saying. I'm just wondering if Colonel Moran or Professor Moriarty is his daddy. Of course, now we're back to, and now, okay, we'll turn it back on if other characters show up. When November reached its halfway point, Pendleton presented, as he always did around this time of the month, his report on the investigation. Now that we've heard Pendleton's voice, I can't read him with his normal... All right, I'll just do his voice that I've been doing. I apologize for turning it on and then turning it off, but it's just going to take forever, and... All right, I'm just going to read normal anyway. Would now be a good time to update you on the investigation, my lady? Yes, please do. Pendleton sifted through a bundle of papers in his hands. He only stopped when he found one in particular, which he presented. Have a look at this. It was a list of names. Nearly all of them had been crossed out in black ink. What is this? All of these people were in that photograph. It took no time to find who they were. However, I regret. I knew what he would report about these names before he finished the sentence, for the seriousness of his lips said plenty. I feel like this is similar to something we've read. I regret to inform you that nearly all of them are dead. The most recent was only half a year ago. Then that leaves only 2 people in that photograph who are still alive. Her Majesty the Queen and Earl Beckford, yes? So many smiles. It was uncomfortable to know that only 2 were left. Buckingham Palace was never lacking in security, and no person or organization had the means to conquer it. It was clear who would be the next target, Earl Beckford. We'll have to hasten our investigation. She's like, who's the next target? Oh, yeah, okay. She's like, Buckingham Palace. I know who the next target is. Earl Beckford. That's the logical choice. But I think that's what the conclusion she was making. Like, the Buckingham Palace is pretty well protected, so I'm guessing the Earl's next. Yeah. So, were you able to speak with Earl Beckford? No. I went to visit him, but he wasn't at his mansion in London at the time. I'm told that he's currently in Edinburgh on a business trip, but he'll be returning soon. You did well. I'm just worried. If the only survivors are him and Her Majesty, then I hope nothing has happened to him. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but he has periodically received letters of a threatening nature. Not as many of late, but the news does cause some alarm. It does. Might you arrange for us to meet him as soon as he returns? Of course. Now, as part of my continued report, I thought to investigate the servants who once worked at this mansion. How far back? The ones in service to my parents upon their deaths? Precisely that. If it isn't unthinkable for one of them to have seen something. If they did, they would be a target as well. We too are witnesses to the crimes in that same vein, but we mustn't ignore the welfare of others if it's within our power to keep them safe. I'm pleased to say the former head maid now lives in the suburbs of London with her husband and son. If you're pleased, then may I assume nothing has happened to her? That is correct. I'm beginning to suspect there is something greater at play here, a criminal organization or some other power. How could someone acting alone disguise all these murders as suicides or accidents? Yes, you're absolutely right. These deaths are varied and far apart, but whether done alone or in cooperation, if these deaths are in fact murders, then it's still a serial murder case we face. We must speak with the Earl as soon as possible. He could be living in fear of being targeted, unable to confide in a single person for fear they would be his killer. Certainly, I suppose. I shall contact him upon his return and arrange a meeting. Thank you. But please take caution. The more openly you seek the truth, the more danger is eager to pounce from its hiding place. Not to worry, I understand that well. Several weeks passed, and with each of those came a stark drop in heat. It was no cause for worry, for the cold brought Christmas, and the students could not get enough of discussing their celebratory plans. Bundled cheeks which turned red from both weather and delight could be seen. Indeed, the sudden chill marked a marvelous occasion. All right, we'll turn that. Okay, hold on. We got our students things. I know I could just kind of talk over them, but that just sounds weird. So, all right, hold on. Let's go back. Oh, we can't go back. There's no way to go. Hold on. December is almost here, and Christmas is right around the corner.
ええ。私がロンドンに来てから
So we actually
初
have
め
a
ての
voice.
クリスマス。
Oh my god, her voice is overly
楽しみだわ。
sugarly cute. Makes me want to vomit. So it is. It's my first one since coming back to London, so I'm looking forward to it. Hold on. Oh wait,
田舎にいた頃は教会でお祈りしたり
I was hoping Marple would talk.
クリスマスキャロルを歌ったりして静かに過ごしていたけれど
I celebrated it before I moved, mind. We would pray at the church and sing Christmas carols, but it was a rather quiet affair.
ロンドンのクリスマスってきっと賑やかなんでしょうね
I'm sure it's much more lively
今だ
in
って
London.
街中が
Jesus
祝福の
Christ.
雰囲気にあふれているもの
Okay. I get that we gotta pause in between sentences, but like, I'm sure it's much more lively in London. The streets are rife with festivities and cheer already. That's too much of a fucking pause. Stop, take a breath, continue. Like, I'm like, okay, she's done. Okay, I'm like halfway through the sentence and she starts talking again. Too much of a pause. Too much.
ええ最近ではメッセージ入りのクリスマスカードを送り合ったりクラッカーで盛り上がったりするわ
I'm just waiting because I'm expecting her to say something. She's also talking very slow. Like, is it just me? Like, usually when you watch things in Japanese, you're like, I can't, you're talking too fast. She is actually talking at a very pace where you might be able to understand what she's saying. But in my head, I'm like, oh god, talk faster. Not that I can understand what you're saying, because I only know certain things in Japanese. But anyway, oh, but of course, I've seen cards being sent, gifts being bought, and Christmas crackers being prepared for the big day.
いいですね。家でクリスマスなんて。
That's an Akechi voice. I expected that. It must be nice to celebrate such a holiday at home.
寮には家から遠く離れた人も多いですから。そんな人のために食堂でクリスマス会を開くようです。
That is okay. I know I don't do boy voices the way the boys do their own voices, but that has the tone and the everything that in my head, I know my voice doesn't sound like that at all, or even close. But that is just basically like, you're like, yes, that is it's the tone and the deeper and the very calm and the very collected and just the very like, it's what I expected his voice to be. You know, sometimes you're like, oh, no, that is not at all what I was thinking when I saw the character in my head. Yes. Yes. That one's yes, that's definitely an Akechi voice, uh-huh. For those who cannot see their families for Christmas, however, there will be a party held in the dormitory's dining hall.
俺らなんて特に留学生だし、家族というか祖国から遠く離れてるからな。
I believe that for Kobayashi. Yep, that's good. Ha! Can't get much further than us either. Halfway around the world is no mean feat.
一応聞くけど、クリスマスって何の日か知っているの？
Her voice is good. It's ridiculously cute. Like, it's so adorable, but then again, like, so is she. But she's almost got that little, like, monotone in it. Like, still has more emotion than I read Marvel, but it's not bad. I'm compelled to ask, do you two know what Christmas is about then?
はい。主のお生まれになった日を祝して、家族に感謝し共に食事をとり、ささやかな贈り物をする。欧米諸国ではそういう日なんですよね。
Of course, it's a day to celebrate the birth of Christ, to give thanks to your family whilst you dine, and exchange presents. Have I got it right? Pretty much. Wait till we get to what do you think Easter is? He's like, that is no! It's about a giant bunny who leaves you candy. What Easter has become.
その通りよ。クリスマスは家族と楽しく過ごす日。みんな楽しみにしているわ。
It's nice that she's voiced, but at the same time, it's a little weird because most of the time the MC isn't voiced. And I think I like it better when she's not. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you, especially if you're going to self-insert or you're like, well, okay, look at we're derpy. I don't like read through this and go like, I'm totally her, because I'm not this stupid. I'm not going to go falling off a fucking cliff. I shouldn't say that because I'll go falling off a cliff. But I'm just saying I'm not quite as fucking stupid as half the MCs are. But, you know what I mean? Like, so it's just weirder that she has a voice because you're like, okay, I had to get over her derpy face. And then she's got this adorably sweet voice. And now I gotta like, and it's a little weird. But, I don't know. I prefer them not voiced. I like my boys voiced. But we never listen to it because this. 20 minutes later, we're still like, it's gonna take 6 days to play this, but... We're not going to keep the voice acting on the whole time. I was hoping the other characters would show up, but anyway. Not a thing missed. It's a time meant to be spent with families, so everyone just loves it.
そうだ。お前もよければ寮のクリスマスの集いに来てくれよ。寮の管理人さんも友達呼んでいいって言ってくれたし。
I love Kobayashi. So good. It's like he's so excitedly eager and happy the way I imagine him. It's good. I know. You ought to join the dormitory's party, Spacey. The head did say it was all right to invite friends.
ダメですよ、小林。そうしたい気持ちは山々ですが、男子寮のクリスマスです。いろいろと危ないですから。
I would note, Kobayashi, that as much as I should like her to join us, we're arranging this party in the boys' dormitory. To invite her would be crass.
そうか。残念。せっかくのクリスマスなのに。寮生活はそこに難ありだな。
I guess it's a real shame, though that's what comes from living in a dorm.
気持ちだけはいただいておくわ。ありがとう、二人とも。
Everybody else speaks at a normal pace. She speaks very slow. Indeed, the invite warms my heart nonetheless, so thank you. Akechi and Kobayashi both expressed their concerns for me plainly. For that I was grateful.
では、我々は今日も捜査があるので。
Hoping some of our other boys show up. But the two of us must be going, or we have investigations that need looking into. Pardon us.
じゃあ、また明日な。
See you tomorrow! After their goodbyes, they retired from the classroom. Who's next?
マーブルの家ではどんなクリスマスを？
How do you celebrate Christmas in your family, Marble?
ええ、私はおばあちゃんの家にみんなで集まってツリーを飾るわ。親戚は大家族だから。
I love Marble. We all gather in grandmother's house and decorate the tree together. We're a large family, so... Marble quite suddenly fell silent mid-sentence.
ごめんなさい。無神経だったわ。
Oh, I'm sorry. That was insensitive of me. I knew why she was suddenly earnest. She recalled my parents.
いいのよ。気にしないで。私が聞いたんだし。素敵なことじゃない。
Nonsense. I was the one who asked. It must be loads of fun with so many people.
あなたのお家はきっとペンデルトンさんがクリスマスの用意をしていそ
I
う
was
ね
really hoping other people would come in. Because, like, this is why we can't do... Okay, so I just started playing Norn 9, and I was literally like, hey, maybe we should turn the voice acting on and do... I can't do it. I'm just gonna have to play the next part and be like, nope, can't do it, because it drives me crazy. I'm like, I just... 5 minutes later. Okay, now I want to read the line. And it's like, I enjoy hearing it, but I think when you're reading it by yourself, you're just like, you can read, I imagine Pendleton's planning your Christmas. You know, you read it as they're speaking, but I can't do that because then I'd be reading it out loud. So it's more distracting doing it this way with the voice acting. Because unfortunately, I think some where it's only certain lines are voiced. You know what I mean? Like when you're playing Danganronpa or whatever, you can leave the voice because they're speaking in English, so I don't have to read the line afterward. This are speaking in Japanese, so it's like, all right, well, you got to pay attention, and then you've got to read the lines, and then I'm just sitting here. Okay, we're skipping through. We're not reading what they're saying, so you can't just kind of like, oh, I'm going to kind of do some other thing. I multitask when I watch videos, so I fully expect that people multitask when they watch videos, and like, I'm reading the lines so you know what's happening, and you're going to glance up once in a while and be, oh, CG is cool, awesome. But if I didn't, and we just kind of skip through like, it's so funny, oh my god, be like, what the fuck, you got to sit there and you're reading. You might as well buy the game if that's how you want to do it. I'm just saying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you just, like, there are people who play the games and they literally just do that. They just skip through. They don't have any talk, no nothing. It's literally just skipping through the game. No. I mean, I get that some people want that. Just buy the goddamn game then, because you're cheap. Like, I understand not everyone can afford all these games. I really freaking can't either, but you can get them on sale or something. That is basically you're playing the game without paying for it. And that's like, it's borderline pirating the game. Like, a lot of game developers are totally cool, and thank God they are with us playing the game and doing this. But, and I know there's some people like, okay, cool, I can't afford the game, so I'm going to watch a game playthrough. But I would hope if you're if you're watching me, it's because you like the terrible voices and the commentary and whatever. Because obviously you wouldn't be here. Like, you would not have made it this far. But, so that I can't do the, like, it's driving me crazy already that we're, like, stopping every time. And I know that we're stopping because we're chatting, but just the skipping through the voice lines, it's already like, I'm already wanting to turn it off again. But I imagine Pendleton is planning your Christmas at the mansion as we speak. I'm actually going to. I wish there was an easier way to do this, so I didn't have to keep doing this. I want to be able to hear the characters' voices, so if other ones come on, I will put it back. But I gotta be honest, she takes too long to fucking talk. She's kind of the worst. He wouldn't be Pendleton if he weren't always so prepared. Fuck my life. You know. I smiled to lift her spirits, but I was aware that Pendleton would not be waiting upon my return. The events of the night before made certain of that. And I enjoy the fact, okay, so, like, and hopefully Holmes and Watson show up and other people, so we can turn the voice acting back on and just hear them. But I can't do the whole thing, because part of having it on is like, okay, we stop, we listen to them speak, and then I read the lines, and it does, like, this part's already half an hour, and we could have done this in, like, 15 minutes normally. But I know I've done a lot of talking, but it's just because, holy crap. Anyway. It's time I depart, my lady. You must forgive me for having to leave you like this, but I trust you'll do so splendid. You'll do splendidly in my absence. I shall endeavor to, Pendleton. You take care. I know that this time of year is a busy one. It's a terrible time to be elsewhere but here, with December, of all months, being upon us. Don't speak that way when it's the first time you've taken leave. When was the last time you were home? I don't mind you placing yourself first from time to time, you know. You have a good heart, my lady, but I fear for what may happen if you're left alone. Oh, do you have that little faith in me? I'll be all right, I swear. A bit lonely, but I'm not a child anymore. He's like, no, I'm afraid you might do something stupid and get yourself injured. Oh, then yeah, you're rightful to be worried. If you insist, then I'll leave knowing you're safe in my absence. I only ask that you stay that way. Do not go looking into that case. I wouldn't want anything to happen to you while I cannot remedy it. Don't worry, I'll be on my best behavior. No, we won't. Oh, God, no, we won't. And please, do not tell anyone other than the servants that I'm away. One can never be too cautious. Pendleton has always expressed an unduly protective nature where I was concerned. Stop fretting and go. I really should. I'll be returning in 1 week. That's perfectly fine. Give my regards to your family. His secret family. Oh my God, he's got a wife and kids. He's like the fucking Hawkeye. Spoiler? If you don't. He isn't home to make plans, but I can't tell anyone that. I told him to place himself first this year as well. It wouldn't be right to say that and then expect him to plan a Christmas party. I gave a small sigh. Oh, I didn't know that it was so late. Excuse me, I really must be going. All right, have a pleasant evening, Marple. And the same to you, dear. I bid her farewell with a modest wave as she left the classroom. Oh! What? Okay, we can... I know, but after a while we'll have heard all their voices that matter. I wonder if we can... Oh, we can do voice individually. Okay, we can turn her off. And we can turn Akechi and Kobayashi off because we've kind of already heard them. We can leave Herlock Watson. We'll leave the people on that we haven't heard yet. I don't think we're going to be hearing, You know what I just realized when I was looking at this? I'm like, wait a minute. That's interesting. Mycroft Holmes. Mycroft hasn't fucking shown his face in this whole entire game. I wish you could play them. You know what I mean? But anyway. How are you planning on spending this Christmas, Holmes? Oh. Oh, wait. Hold on. I left the voice acting off, didn't I? I thought I turned it on and turned individual ones off. I might have not done it. Oops, I didn't. Whoopsie. I got ahead of myself. Sorry, we'll come back anyway. We'll see. Father said he'll be concocting our meal after we've returned from church. He's strangely excited for it. I don't know what to expect if I'm honest.
俺んちも母さんがいろいろ準備してるよ。
Yeah.
親子3人揃うのも結構久しぶりだからな。
Okay, that works for me. He's got that little bit of sprightliness in his voice. Okay, not quite as sprightly as I give him the impy treatment, but he's close enough anyway. Is he? The mom's been running around and getting everything ready for us. It'll be the first time in a while that the three of us have all come together. Glancing over, I could see Holmes and Watson were the rule over the expectation, as they, too, had begun cheerily discussing their plans. It had been so many years since then. Christmases had come and gone, some delightful, others quite sad, but one would think that after so many, loneliness would be behind me. Yet all it took was to see the excitement that festered the air for that hollow emotion to creep in. They don't know how lucky they are. I wish Mother and Father were still here. Holmes called out to me, taking me out of my thoughts. I was going to say, if that's all we get of Holmes and Watson, I'm going to be disappointed, because...
Miss Whiteley, どうした? ぼんやりして.
It is supposed to be Miss Whiteley. I knew it at that one point. I was like, is this supposed to be like Whiteley? But I keep calling her Whitley, so... Anyway. Miss Whitley, what is it? You appear distracted by something. Oh, Holmes, I'm not.
何か心配なことでもあったのか?
He's got the deeper tone in his voice. It worked, yeah. Again, mine's way not, obviously, but sometimes you hear a voice and you're like, no. But yeah, so far, all of these are good. Is something troubling you? No, nothing of the sort. You needn't fuss. Thank you for asking, but really, I'm in wonderful spirits. Enough of this. Before he could press me further, I needed to leave. Good day to you, Holmes.
まあ、ごきげんよう、Miss Whiteley.
So funny the way he says her name because he pauses and then says it very carefully. Right. Good day to you as well, Miss Whitley. There was something knowing in Holmes's expression, and I had no desire to contemplate what his observant eye had discovered in me. Once in the corridor, I slowed to a walk. A lonely, dreary walk. So the Holmes and Watson ones were too fast, so I'm going to leave them on because I'm thinking they'll come back later. And everyone's going to surprise us for a magical Christmas party. Oh, I'm such a fool. There's no hiding anything from him.
やれやれ。相変わらず隠し事が苦手のようだな。
Dear, oh dear, she'll always be a terrible actress. We only got one Watson line. I rode the carriage home as I did every day after school.
お嬢様、お帰りなさいませ。
Welcome home, my lady. Thank you, Alicia. A part of me wished for the comfort of a routine, a part which was, as I knew it would be, dashed by not seeing Pendleton at the door. I missed his afternoon greetings. Why, I even missed his quips and criticisms of my manners. It feels so quiet in the mansion today. So much has happened as of late, I'm no longer used to it being like this. I like that you can turn off the individual voices. You know, so if one just really, you're like, no! Or in this case, I don't want the MC having a voice. I trotted up to my bedroom and observed my family portrait. To think there was a time when all three of us lived and breathed. To think it was all so distant. To think it at all was to think too much. Pendleton had remarked once that father was an avid painter. He would often paint both friends and family to pass the time. I remembered none of this. I was so young then that I perhaps never had the chance to see him be a hobbyist between his hours of being a parent. This portrait was painted the same year they died. I was so little, I wouldn't even been able to change anything at such an age, even knowing what I know now. Also, I mean, I don't think you would have had the brains to do it. Not just because you're a little kid, but your eyes are taking up 98% of your fucking face, so there's really not much room in your skull for anything other than eyeballs. That's what I'm saying. Mother is wearing Her Majesty's ring with her wedding ring. She must have treasured it with all her heart. I brought this painting back with me to London, but until then it had been displayed in the countryside mansion. The room depicted was the living room, and though it had the very exact walls, the same crown molding, the precise pattern in the carpet as the mansion I lived in now, it was not the same. Down to the finest details, my current home had been designed to be a replica over the original's ashes. I wondered how many paintings my father did. I would never know, for the fire had stolen all but the one. It was now something I treasured deeply, and more than a treasure, it was my resolve laid bare to all who saw it. I would, no matter how many years passed, find their murderer. It's obviously not this one, because he couldn't be in the painting if he was painting it. I'm wondering if it's the portrait of the queen, because that was the one, like with Lupin, like, I'm gonna steal it, and she's like, I'll fucking kill you! You know? I'm proud that Her Majesty told me how my mother often helped her, how she helped anyone in need, how they'd come to depend on her, how she earned that ring through her good deeds. A terrible gale was outside tonight. The windows rattled. The mansion settled itself with a low hum. The sounds and my portrait, made through a beautiful mix of paints and framed in gold for beauty's sake, gave me hatred. I could wish to forget, but these things would always be there, and they would mumble dark lullabies to my ears each night till my work was done. This I knew. The wind was like this back then, too. I'm lonelier than I thought I'd be without Pendleton. If only he were here to keep me company. In the few seconds I stepped away from the window to open the door, Alicia had appeared on the other side.
お嬢様、ご友人のホームズ様とワトソン様がお見えになっていますが。
My lady, your friends Holmes and Watson have come to visit. Hold on. I am going to turn off the others' voices because we don't need the random people's voices. Like, no offense to Alicia, but we don't need the others. I wasn't really thinking about that when we did it, but we don't need every other character talking. We need the important ones. I jumped back. Really? When it's so late in the day? Though I asked with incertitude. Wow, I was thinking she was incredulous. Like, I was like, I don't know if uncertainty, like incertitude. I was equally relieved by their timely arrival. There are Baker Street boys, after all. I made my way back down the stairs to greet them.
あ、ごめん、こんな時間に。
Good evening, Spacey. Sorry to come so late. Is it urgent? I was quite surprised to learn you were here.
いや、ホームズがどうしても一緒に来いって言うからさ。いてて。
Not that I'm aware. It was Holmes who insisted I could. Ow!
ワトソン君、君も喜んでついてきたじゃないか。
Their voices are very close to like what I was picking. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yeah, I see it. Yeah. So far, I mean, obviously every voice in this has been great. They did good. If I imagine a character with a certain kind of tone in their voice and then I hear the actual voice acting and I'm like, yeah, no, that's good. You know what I mean? Then, because, like, I imagine the voices. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, the voice actor who does Pendleton is not at all what I did. But it's like, yeah, no, I could see that as Pendleton's voice. I'm okay. That's good. You know what I mean? But there are times where you really are like if Watson was like, hi, I have a deep, sexy. If you switch the voices, right? If you gave Holmes the Watson voice and Watson the Holmes voice, you would literally be like, no, this is fucking wrong, right? But you hear them and you're like, no, this is right. This is good. Anyway. I insisted. Or were you like a pup having found a bone upon my invitation? To see them as they always were gave me that normalcy I needed in that moment.
それにしても今日は風が強いね。参ったよ。
I don't know why it's so windy today. Hearing it's one thing, but coming here and it's some kind of ordeal.
そういえば今日はペンデルトンさんはいないの？いつもだったら一番に来るから。
Where's Pendleton? He always greets us at the door with you. Really? Oh, what a sudden question to ask. I wasn't prepared for anyone to ask it, so I had no answer to give. There was no reason for them to know he was gone before coming here, surely.
隠す必要はないぞ。僕には分かっている。
Best not to lie now. I know he isn't here. Holmes was so emboldened with the confidence that my own grew twice limited. My response was timid. What makes you say that?What makes you say that?
今日の君は珍しく放課後時間を気にしていなかった。事件のない時、君はいつも門限を気にかけているはずだ。
After lessons were done, you seemed unconcerned with the time as you often are. You had no case to occupy your time otherwise, and without one, your curfew applies.
それに君はいつも母親の形見のペンダントをかけている。制服の時も服の下にかけているだろう。
Sorry, Holmes. It was your mother's necklace, which you keep under your blouse.
今日はしきりにそれを押さえていた。
You were periodically clutching it throughout the day. Perhaps I was, but what does this have to do with Pendleton?
君は少し不安な時や寂しい時に無意識にそのペンダントを押さえる癖がある。
Have you not noticed your habit of holding it when you feel uneasy or lonely? I had not, thank you very much.
だから今日は屋敷に執事がいないのかと思ったんだが、当たっているか？
I have, so I had to wonder what the cause might be. That your butler isn't home is one such possibility. So, how right am I? I didn't know what to say. His speculation was simply too on the mark. You're right. I'm not good at playing pretend.
それからもう一つ当てよう。君は今、ある重大な事件を探っている。君のご家族に関わる重大な事件だ。
There is one other matter that bears mentioning. You have no case to occupy your time that we should know of. One that concerns your family. How did you know that?
君は図書室の資料室で熱心に資料を写していた。
I spotted you taking notes in the library's reference
その
room.
書類にホワイトリーの名前が2つ見えた。君の両親で間違いないな。
Among the notes were two people with the same surname as yours. Those would be your parents, I imagine. You imagine, right? Don't look! And so I looked to the left of him before flickering back to him. Don't look! And so I looked to the right of him before that failed as well. Don't look! And so I lowered my chin and kept my eyes to the floor. I didn't like this one bit.
君の両親の事件といえば、当時はかなり有名だったようだ。資料室で記事が簡単に見つかった。
See, so like, while he's speaking, you can read the lines, like, you know, your parents' case was quite known at the time. I've come to learn. It was easy for me to dig up articles on the incident in the reference room. But then you literally do it. It's twice as long. So, and he speaks at a normal pace, but when they speak as fucking slow as she does, it's like, oh, sweet Jesus. So it's kind of almost like, okay, you know, like having the voice acting on is nice, but I don't think I could do it through the whole game. It would literally take fucking forever.
新聞を見てみると、当時の君は行方不明との扱いだった。その後、事件は事故として処理されたようだったが。
Or we could literally do this, where it's like, okay, click the button and goes on to the next thing and you have to read it yourself. But again, that takes, I don't know, I feel like, yeah, if my whole thing was like, I'm just going to start playing games and I'm just going to read through them and I'm going to like not have me talking and it's just that, God, you might as well buy the game yourself and play. You know what I mean? You don't have that. I don't know, but anyway, that's not the way I can play. I would just play it by my damn self. There'd be no point. Anyway, they listed you as missing, and after a short investigation, your parents' deaths were declared an accident.
一人娘である君のことはそれ以降世間に出てくることはなかった。
But funny thing about you, they never spoke of your status beyond missing ever again.
この空白の12年、唯一生き延びた君はここから離れた場所で育った。
In the 12 years between then and now, you, the sole survivor, were raised somewhere away from the public eye.
そして今年、君はここに戻ってきた。かつて一度は焼け落ちたここ、新しいホワイトリー邸に。
And then you chose to come back to the new Whitley mansion, a stunning work built over the one that had been razed. Holmes? I was gonna okay, we've heard a lot of Holmes. We need some more Watson before we turn them off. Watson carried an air of concern, as though we hoped Holmes would know when to stop. I merely shook my head. Carry on, Holmes.
君はここに何をしに来た？学校に通うためか、それとも働くためか？
What inspired you to return to London? Was it to attend school? To work?
いや違う。もっと別の目的。知りたいことがあって来たんだ。例えばそう。
It was neither of those things. You returned for a very specific purpose. To find something. Yes, a very certain something.
両親の事件とか。
You wanted to find the truth behind their deaths. The silence was soon an awkward one. First it was Watson. Now it was Holmes whose voice vibrated with that same concerned anguish.
君の調べている事件を話してくれないか？
Well, you
僕と
don't
ワトソン
speak.
君は
Oh,
そのことを聞きに来た。
Tari took a really long pause. Will you not speak with us on your case? That's what brought us here.
頼む。俺たちは君の力になりたい。
Watson. Please, Spacey, we want to help you. All right, but you must swear not to repeat a word of this to anyone. How had they managed to learn so much on their own? Did it matter anymore? Certainly to hide what was known any longer was an act of foolish resistance. Both boys nodded. With delicate hesitance, I motioned to relay my story. Hold on. No offense to Holmes, but he's talked a lot, so we're going to turn him off. We're going to leave Watson on, though, because I feel like Watson needs... we need a few more of Watson lines. Just a couple more, and then we're like, okay, we've heard his voice, but we barely hear him out of the 900 lines. Until I was 4 years old, I lived in London with my mother and father. Father was kind, mother was wise, and all of the servants loved me. My life was one of bliss. Wait. This is how we do it. Oh, 4. Okay, I don't know why my brain read 9, and I was like, wait a minute. She'd be 21 then if it's 12 years ago. Like, okay, wow, my brain. Anyway, it was a windy night. So windy, in fact, that I could hear it howling from my bed, just like tonight. All other noise in my home had been drowned out by this one blistering sound. All except one, a strange sound. A sound I had never heard before, which was coming from my parents' room next to mine. Oh, girl, they were hoping you were asleep. I woke to that sound, which made me terribly ill at ease. I then left my bed in hopes of knowing its source. Could you just imagine? You're like, oh, God, it wasn't your parents being murdered. Never mind. You have a mansion. Why is your child's bedroom right next to yours? Like across the hall, down three doors down? I don't know. I crept outside, opened their door to peek inside, and saw everything. Trauma. Mother and father were still. There, sunk into my mother's chest, with even the silver of its heel colored a deep red, was a knife. Is Top Hat the one that killed them? I wanted to run. Oh, how I wanted to run. To move. But no part of me moved. Not my feet, not a twitch from my mouth, nor even my fingers on the doorframe. Run. Run. Run! Why didn't I move? I couldn't. Fear had bid me numb. It was just then that I felt someone grasp my trembling hand. Pendleton, who was the family butler even back then. He, too, was tense in a way that I'd never seen. He grabbed my hand as tightly as he could before leading me from the mansion to safety, and he didn't age. I'm just saying, Pendleton and Sebastian have a little bit too much in common. It wasn't long before it caught fire. All the papers the next morning reported them as having burnt to death in the blaze. But I knew. I had seen more than a simple accident. I saw a man, a knife, a murder. Two, double. Had Pendleton not come to my aid and led me away, I would have certainly been murdered alongside them. I absconded to an old house in Chipping Campden of the Cotswolds, northwest of London. That was where my father had spent his childhood, and now it was where I could spend mine. It became a second home to me. Yet this was no cause for joy for some time. I had closed myself off from the world and was reluctant to speak to anyone. What good could come from a world that had taken everything from me? It was thanks to the land, Pendleton's tireless care, and the kindness of our neighbors that my heart gradually healed. But in pain or healing, I was the same once the sun set. I often bored a hole in that painting on the wall every single night when I lived there, thinking, why? Why were mother and father gone? Why were they murdered? Who did it, and for what? Everyone trusted them, loved them. When help was needed, they would go to them. Who took that away? The questions came in an endless cycle that tormented me even when I became a young woman. Every single time I asked myself those things, my desire to go back to London and find the man behind that night grew with a fever. All those thoughts filled me to the point of overflowing as I clung to the pendant my mother bequeathed me upon her death. What a story. To think you've been pursuing this case for 12 years. I want more than anything to find who is responsible for their murders, but so far...
何か分かっていることは？
Have you learned of any leads? A few. I've not found any groundbreaking clues, but my investigation has unearthed some small leads. Permit me to share them with you. I inspected the photograph of my parents and the nobles with whom they were close. See here, this is a photograph depicting my parents and their friends. All of them are graduates of Harrington Academy. My mother was given one of Her Majesty's rings also. What links these people beyond the photograph are their deaths? One after another, they've perished. They've been perished? They have perished. The first and second were mother and father. Their remains were discovered in the mansion as little more than ashes. You'd know from the papers this was labeled some days later as bad luck involving a random fire and two people could not escape their home in time. It was, in short, an accident. The third was 2 years after. Baron Stanley, this gentleman right here, died under peculiar circumstances. He proposed measures to the government to improve conditions in the slums that used neighboring countries as a model. He was a humanitarian at heart and did much volunteering. How strange for such an upstanding man to become so drunk that he would fall and drown in the river. His body was discovered alongside of the Thames. 4 years later was Professor Randolph, who entered an excited state through excessive consumption of elixir. He then committed suicide by jumping from the window of his third-floor flat. An autopsy concluded an instantaneous death due to head trauma from the fall. Odd how they ignored the unnatural injuries to his neck as well, especially because falling from the third floor probably, I mean, if you landed just right, it might snap your neck, but it probably wouldn't kill you. Serious injuries, but people have fallen from higher height, like third floor flats, and I can't imagine, like, in my apartment building, I'm technically on the third floor, right? Because I'm technically on the second floor, but we have a basement levels in the back, so I'm technically on the third floor if you looked from the ground level. I'm pretty sure I could jump off my balcony and not die. I mean, I might, because I might stab myself in a tree limb, because, like, I'd be falling into the woods. But you could probably fall off your balcony and not die. On a third floor. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to break some legs and ankle if you jump feet first. And if you jump stomach first, I mean, yeah. And depending on how you landed, you could break your neck. But, you know what I mean? Like, to be like, he fell from the third floor and he died. I mean, I guess back in the day, they're like, oh, he must have fallen and he must have killed himself. Or he tripped and fell out a window. Like, guess you wouldn't think he accidentally tripped and fell out a window, but... 3 years after that, Viscount Quincy, a trader, was trampled by a carriage whilst drunk. He died from his injuries. Beyond his death, I would note that the Viscount Quincy had a string of misfortunes following him no matter his actions. His parents became severely ill, and a business venture he invested in failed very suddenly. To name 2 things. I have to wonder how all of these were reported as accidents or suicide, because they happened years and years apart.
でも君の両親は事故死として報じられたって。君が見た犯人の証言は取り上げられなかったのか？
You and your parents' murders? Have you ever testified before the police? I have, but they never did a follow-up investigation. The entire mansion was gone, and evidently my parents' remains were so charred that no one could prove or disprove that a stabbing had taken place.
やりきれない話だな。でももしこれが殺人なら、犯人は何が目的で彼らを狙ったんだ？彼らに共通する点は。
What frustrating circumstances to be put in. But if all of them were murdered by the same culprit, then why? What more do they have in common? After their graduation, they became founding members of the Harrington Welfare and Education Foundation, formed to better the lives of those in need. In particular, they hope to support the children of the slums. It still runs, and I'm sure it's grown substantially in these years. But consider this. You have so many founding members, and yet only Earl Beckford amongst them lives. That makes him seem shady, but at the same time, like... He's like, oh yeah, I killed all my friends. Oh, he looks the most suspicious, right? I see. What's this? He pulls it back. It was folded underneath. There's another person in the photo. How did I not notice this? If it was in a frame, maybe. You know what I mean? Following Holmes's eyes, I realized he was staring at a half-open drawer. How unusual. That one was ordinarily locked. Only Pendleton had the key. Did he really leave it open like that? He's always kept it locked and refused to tell me what's inside. The only thing we found was a bundle of old iron keys. They look so old, and I've never seen them before. I wonder what they open and why Pendleton would be so careless. If Pendleton felt the need to have them specifically secured, then I would wager it unlocks somewhere close. Within the mansion, perhaps. No, if it's your first time learning about them, it's not improbable for it to open outside of it as well. May I see them? I obliged and gave them to him. He spared many seconds for them, squinting intently, turning each one over and examining them from every odd angle he could entertain. The metal has deteriorated so that they must indeed be old. A decade at the youngest. Have you not familiarized yourself with every part of this mansion? I've left everything to Pendleton, I admit. God, does that ever boggle the mind? Or was the reconstruction recent? Yes, this mansion was only built a few years ago.
じゃあ、その古びた鍵は、もしかしたら火事で焼ける前の古い屋敷のものってことか?
Do you think these keys open a room that was destroyed in the fire then? It's that or they opened the one part that wasn't lost, the basement. I thought our necklace looked like a fucking key and it was going to open that door. I recall a small door I never noticed before when I was last down there. It was locked and always had been to my knowledge. I don't know if anyone under my employ has opened it, Pendleton. Could it be... Why don't we try it? But that would... The keys could potentially lead me to part of the mansion I had never explored. Could they? Oh, but would they? Would I? Holmes and Watson both growled with an appetite for the unknown. I reasoned internally. Pendleton had expressly warned me not to look into the case whilst he was gone. Was that it, though? Something as innocent as turning a key to see if it opened a door had nothing to do with his warning. And if it didn't, the investigation was done. But what if it did? Very well. One might consider he left it open for me. We decided as a group to descend to the basement.
よし、そう来なくちゃな。
Yes, that's what I was hoping you'd say. Alicia, would you bring us a lantern? Right away, my lady. Alicia returned soon after with a lantern for us. As I reached for it with a grateful hand, she made us stop. I beg your pardon, but may I inquire where those unlock? These keys? We just found them in the drawer. Her expression darkened with a seriousness I'd never seen from her. You don't mean the one that's always locked, do you? And that one, yes. Why wouldn't Pendleton keep them on him? Why would he lock them in a drawer in the hall? I don't know. My lady, you mustn't. Pendleton is ever so stern when he tells us that we're to keep away from that drawer. That's where he hides his porn. Alicia could not hide her confliction. That he's away should not mean... I'll tell him what I've done when he returns. The mansion is my home. Please, let me do as I will. I don't believe it's improper for me to see more of where I live.
そうですよ。それに、怒られるときは俺たちも一緒に怒られるんで。な、ホームズ。
It shouldn't be. And if she's to be scolded, then we'll be scolded along with her. Isn't that right, Holmes? He sounds really too excited to get scolded by fucking Pendleton. Only so that I may be a participant. I relent then. Here you go. The lantern was ours. note of the basement's age. It's been here since I began work at this mansion, and there's no telling what you may discover should you go beyond its entrance. Please stay well. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this lantern. Thank you, Alicia.
カンテラは俺が持つよ。何かあったら俺がかばうから。あまり離れないでね。
I'll carry the lantern. Stay close. I'll be there to protect you if anything happens. I will. Well, we're sorted. Let us descend. It was time to take the stone stairs which led to the basement. I was familiar with the initial entrance where we had no need to sniff about for clues. We only stopped before the small door I had never seen opened. We should have stopped at the, like, we descended into the basement. I was hoping there would be, like, a ... because, you know what I mean? Like, we should have stopped. It was time to take the stone stairs which led to the basement. But I want to go back to that, but we can't. We're over time. Okay, we'll see if there's a good cockblock stop point. This is the one. It has an unusual padlock. Do any of the keys look at all similar to it, Miss Whitley? The one around my neck does. Let me have a look. I fumbled through the many keys in my possession. 1, 2, those weren't it. 3, 4?
あ、これじゃないかな。
Oh, Spacey! Maybe that's it. Watson pointed to one of them. It does look very similar. I inserted the key into the lock. It turned. With a soft clunk, the door was unlocked. It opened. I let out a shout of amazement. I couldn't believe this. All these years, and here in my hands was the key to the basement. We were immediately met with another flight of stairs leading further down. Okay, I'm going to stop it here. Like, we're going to cock block. I'm going to stop it here. I'm probably going to turn off Watson's voice now that we've heard, so we can read through, and then we'll see if any of the other characters... Because, I mean, I thought we saw, like, Hudson and... Well, you know what's really weird? It's really... I was just thinking, because at first my brain was like, oh, these, right? When we go to the voices, the individual voices. I was like, oh, these are the voices in this part because, you know, blah, 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 blah. But why in the world Mycroft Holmes, Edward Moriarty? There, you could change their voice. Others. Sherlock Holmes is not in here. Colonel Moran is not in here. I understand that, like, Bradley and, like, some of the other smaller side characters, but Colonel Moran's been in everything. Why would he not be a voice that you could toggle on and off as opposed to others? You know what I mean? It's really interesting that Mycroft Holmes... By the way, Sherlock Holmes has been in quite a few of these. Mycroft Holmes has never fucking shown up yet, so he's probably in this. Because this should just be the voices for everyone, the entire game. It wouldn't be specific to this. It's really weird, but anyway, I'm going to wrap this up here. I'm going to cockblock you a little bit, and we'll find out what's down those stairs into the basement. Huh. And yet it's not the secret passage to... you know what I mean? Like, it's not the secret passage to us going into town, because I guess technically didn't happen, but anyway, we'll find out. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.